Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our first guest is the co-creator and co-host of the hit podcast Murder in America, one of the largest true crime podcasts in the country. He's also the force behind the popular web series The Paranormal Files. Now he's working on a true crime docuseries. Here to share more, we welcome to AM Northwest Colin Browen. Good to see you, Colin.
Good to see you, and thank you for having me.
You bet. First of all, I'm a big fan of Murder in America. It's really a good show. It really is. Good work.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's Courtney and I didn't expect the podcast to take off kind of how it did, but it's been a blessing through and through.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Okay, so talk to me about this new docuseries and why this.
So, you know, Courtney and I have been covering stories of murder for the last 5 or so years on our podcast, Murder in America. And doing the research for these stories, Courtney is so great with all of that, and she has done so much digging to try and bring a lot of the lesser-known details in these cases to light. We came across some stories that weren't getting the coverage that I thought they needed to receive. And oftentimes these stories dealt with, as disturbing as the topic is, organized pedophilia, which is, you know, we're seeing it kind of play out nowadays with the Jeffrey Epstein story, and we're seeing how power can kind of protect some of these perpetrators, regardless of how much you buy into the whole thing. So yeah, there was one story that I came across that I can talk about, which is the story of the Oakland County child killer in Detroit. And there were 4 children that were murdered in the Detroit area in the 1970s. And to this day, they have never found the perpetrator. They have never identified who killed those kids. And in the course of that investigation, it led them to a man named Frank Sheldon. And Frank Sheldon was kind of like the Jeffrey Epstein of this story. He had his own private island in Michigan. He was flying children to this island. And when the authorities came down on Sheldon, he left the country, and that's officially where the story ends. They never were able to bring him in for an interview. He had hundreds of victims, potentially thousands. He was running this giant organization that spanned across the entire United States, and they essentially let him go. And so what our team has done is identify what happened to him after he left America. And we flew to Germany, to Amsterdam, and all the way to India, tracking this guy down and interviewing survivors of his abroad. And the information is absolutely astounding. And that's just, that's the very beginning, the broad overview of what one of these series is about. And the revelations that we've uncovered are just shocking.
Oh, I bet. Do you think when you do a podcast like that, a docuseries like that, people are listening, they're paying attention, and sometimes you never know who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who can add to the investigations?
That has happened actually to us. I've done a couple media appearances talking about this story, and just last week I actually received an email from somebody who saw me talking about this case and sent me an email full of old newspaper clippings that I had never seen. That I don't want to talk about the information that was in that email yet, but it was so shocking that my jaw hit the floor, and I sent it to my producer. And if I hadn't have gone on, I can't remember the program, and talked about this, that never would have happened. So it helps. You know?
When you talk to survivors, what do you learn from them? I mean, that must help you in your working on certain cases, right?
Oh yeah, and Courtney and I have worked with, you know, people who have survived attempts on their lives when it comes to murder. We have worked with family members that have lost loved ones to violence. We have, you know, and I've worked with survivors of childhood sexual assault and, you know, trafficking. And there are a few things that you kind of learn. I mean, I always get super emotional working with these people, and I can't help but start crying. And, you know, oftentimes people are just thankful that we're there listening, because so many of these survivors and these victims, especially when it comes to trafficking, have been ignored or pushed to the side for decades. And so to have people that are there, not only just documenting their story, but actually listening and supporting them, to me, hearing that they're so appreciative of it,
Right.
and then I start crying, and they start crying. It's like we end with a bunch of hugs and everything. It's
do
like,
you feel there's a responsibility that you and Courtney have when you tell true crime cases when it comes to the survivors, the victims?
yeah. I mean, with true crime, I feel like oftentimes, especially with some of these bigger productions or studio productions, it becomes solely focused on the perpetrator. And what Courtney and I have tried to do with the show is put as much focus as we can on not only the survivors, but also the victims, so that their stories are told properly. Because, you know, oftentimes when it comes to true crime shows, these programs have like 45-minute long cutoff time or run time that they
Right.
have to abide by.
Right.
But the beauty in us starting our own show and working for ourselves essentially has been that we can make these episodes as long as we want. So sometimes they're like 3 hours long, which I know is very long, but you're able to tell the whole story from beginning to end. And we donate every week to a different charity involved
Yes.
and encourage others to, which I think is great too.
Yeah. I want to just switch gears just a little bit to talk about the two of you and Courtney. You've been doing this for quite some time. I had to pick this picture, Colin, because it has a puppy in it. You know, it's an
That is
adorable
Alfie.
picture.
Yeah, that it's so funny. Courtney and I actually adopted Elfie, that's her right there, our puppy, last year. I was filming, because I have my YouTube channel, which is ghost hunting. I've been ghost hunting for 11 years. That's a whole different tangent.
Yeah, that's
I
a
could
different
go
animal,
on.
yeah.
But yeah, I was actually at this abandoned house filming an episode with the owner who claimed her property was haunted, and underneath the home, we discovered a litter of puppies.
Oh.
And yeah, they've been living. It was like this kind of like abandoned shack, and they're all dirty and dusty. This is in kind of North Texas. And at the end of the trip, I called Courtney and said, "Should I take one of these puppies home?" And she was like,
Yes. That's so great. All right, we want to
Yeah.
tell everyone you got to check out Murder in America, and also we're going to tell everyone we're going to put a link from our link to yours, our website to yours, to find out more about the true crime docuseries. Colin, thank you so much.
"Thank you for having me."
You bet. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.